Voting on. Okay, I think we are live actually. Let me see, can I get back to the Zoom? All right, perfect. Okay, so we are live. So welcome to Thriving Thursday, you guys. I got a lot to cover. But first and foremost, thank you for joining us. Let me share my screen. I know Tracy is going to be really excited about this training because she is one of the ones who acts. This is one of the trainings she asked for. So she'll be happy to see this one. Okay. All right. So now that we are on, I want to make sure we're all here. Can you see my screen? Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Yes. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So what I want to do is first and foremost, I want to get some housekeeping done first. Just remember, you guys, February month ends tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. Central, which is 1 o'clock p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Okay. That's where you will go. You can put your orders in up until then, but if you run into any problems, you know you can always call Mary Kay. You can call a 1-800 number and they should be able to assist you with any problems. So whatsoever if we run into stuff. So just keep in mind tomorrow is the last day to get your orders in if you plan on finishing your orders up for February. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Got it. Got it, Tracy. Well, the good thing is this is going to be recorded because Tracy is one of the ones, y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I was asking you guys, what are some of the things that you want me, what are some of the things you would like for me to train on? And this was one of them. So I'm going to dive into team building. So before I get started, either put it in the chat or come off of mute. What are some of the challenges you feel like you have when it comes to team building? Anybody willing to come off of mute and tell me what are your challenges with team building? Any challenges with team building?
Mindy, this Jeanette.
Okay.
My biggest challenge is being consistent with my warm chattering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have I would say warm chattering and just knowing how to interview and
Okay.
what questions, or how to make it sound appealing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. 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 I'm so glad you said that because those are some things that I'm going to cover tonight. So I believe in coming from a place of not just telling you guys what are the challenges, but also giving you a solution. So before I get started, let me tell you a little bit about my history. When I first came into a Gloria's unit, because I was not only her personal, she was not only my personal recruiter, she also was my sales director. And when I first came into her unit, I was big on sales. I always understood the power of sales. Sales was the key. How many of you guys, and y'all can come off mute, put it in the chat. Anytime, maybe it's been a time in your Mary Kay career where you had a financial goal that you needed to meet. Maybe it's an unexpected bill, or maybe it was something that happened and you needed to make extra money quickly. And Mary Kay always came in on time. It's like, I needed a bill it got paid because I got my Mary Kay money. Put that in the chat.
Yeah, that would be me.
That it, both hands, feet. It has been me many of times.
Mm-hmm.
What I know is when I first started Mary Kay, I understood the power of sales. Sell the product. As you sell the product, that's how you build your team. I think sometimes what we do is do the opposite. We get excited about building a team before we build a customer base. So if you're taking notes, this is what I want you to know. You have to build a customer base first before team building. I'm going to say that again. Build a customer base first before team building. Don't recruit all your customers. If you have 10 customers and you recruit them all, build your customer base first. The strongest team members will come from those who value the products. Your strongest team members will come from those who love the product, who use the product, who value the product. That's where, if you want to build a strong team, the strength of your team is going to come from a strong customer base and providing great customer service. Because you are the one who will lead by example. Mary Kay Ash said, how do we lead? By example, by example, by example. Showing them how to sell the product, how to build your business, all of that is going to come from there. So number one, it starts with building your customer base. That's what I want. And the reason why I chose this subject, and really this has been really, really heavy on my spirit. There is a lot of uncertainty happening. You know, people are losing their jobs. How many of us we know someone personally who have lost their job within this last month or so? All of us, right? People are losing their jobs. Not just in the public sector, not just in the government, but also private businesses. People are losing their jobs. So what happens when there's a lot of uncertainty out there? People are looking for something to supplement. I've been in this business. I'm quite sure a lot of us have been in this business during the times where we've had recessions in the company. When there's not in the company, in the country, when there's a recession, team building is high. I'm going to say that again. When unemployment go up, there's a recession out there, team building is always high because people are looking for supplemental income. They're looking for ways to make extra money. And the traditional ways that people used to look at to make extra money was going to get a job at Macy's or JCPenney or something like that. Well, guess what? They're cutting those positions. Mary Kay is a way that you can supplement your income. So this is the next question I have for you. Anybody willing to tell me the last sale you had? How much was it? What was your last sale?
Today, Jeanette, 122.
Okay, so that was $122. So that was just working here. That's $61 you made,
And of course, we
right?
stipulated
$61.
somebody would get resident status.
My last sale was $240,
And that's what
from
we have to
Wendy.
do.
200 and what?
$240.
$240. So that's
But that was two.
$120 you made, Diane.
Yes.
Achieve something.
Anybody else? Anybody else? What's your, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big number.
Need to.
It can be
want to
anything.
know how do they become eligible for resident status?
I can share with you guys, for me,
Clearly in black and white. I want to improve.
my last, okay, yesterday I sold $190 to one person. Today I had a checkup facial that ended up with 70 something. I think it was $72 actually, without the tax and the shipping. That's money that I didn't have to work a whole day to get. Y'all see what I'm saying? So when it comes to team building, I want you to look at this from a lens of there's a demand out there. People are looking for supplemental income. This is what Mary Kay is. Mary Kay is supplemental income. And if you are not making money in one way, shape, or form, we need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation. So I invite you to connect with me because I want you to be in a position where you are making money. I don't care if it's selling a lipstick or a miracle set or a time-wise repair. I want you to be in a position where you're making money because that extra money can pay for gas in your car. It can pay a bill at home. It can, send your child to camp, whatever. That's what we're here to do. Okay? All right. So let me tell you, let me go back. First of all, we're going to go into the challenges. It's 10 challenges. So I want y'all to be ready to write these down. It's 10 challenges, and we're going to talk about the solutions. Okay? And this is interactive. So unmute yourself and come in if you have a question about something that I'm covering, because some of these challenges, you're going to honestly be like, yeah, that's me. That's me. Yep, that's me. So let's get started with the challenges. The first one is fear of rejection. How many people had this? Let's be transparent. This was big for me. I was afraid. But many consultants hesitate to offer the opportunity because you're afraid they're going to tell you no. You're afraid they're going to tell you no. Or you take the rejection personally. That's what we do. We think when they say no to the opportunity, they saying no to me. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen a baby and, you tell them no and they do a whole tantrum, right? Like, oh, it's the worst thing. But we have this fear of rejection because that's why we don't offer the opportunity. That's why we're not handing out our business card. That's not why we're not booking appointments, because we're afraid of the word no. No is a word that has no power. No is a word that has no power. It doesn't change anything. If someone says no, it's not going to change you from where you were before. You're going to be in the same spot, right? So let's talk about the solution. Easy. Understand rejection is a part of the process. We ourselves say no. How many times you said no today? Track yourself. Track how many times you say no in a day. We say no. If somebody say, would you like this? No, thank you. You want to go out to eat? No, thank you. Hey, you want to, read or do this, or would you like that? No, thank you. We say no all the time. No is a natural part of the process. Embrace the rejection. Don't take it personally, but understand it's a part of the process. And you're here. It's not going to change where you are. That just means next. No means next. Okay. Here's another one. Lack of confidence. How many people dealing with this? Come on. Because we know. Lack of confidence. A lot of new or inexperienced consultants may not feel confident explaining a business opportunity, because that's what I know that's kind of what Jeanette was talking about a little earlier when she was talking about, well, I'm not sure what the interview process, what should I say? Sometimes we think about, I don't know exactly what the answer is or how to answer it effectively. So we lack confidence because we just are unsure and we don't know. So here's the solution. Build confidence through knowledge. The more you know, the more you grow. Sometimes we don't know the words. That's why we have scripts. Just be consistent with the same script. I was training a consultant earlier today, and one of the things I shared with her was my script is the same. I don't change it up. It's the same script. When I'm warm chattering, it's the same script. When I'm offering the opportunity, it's the same thing. When I'm doing appointments, of course it may change a little, but the opening and the closing is still the same. I don't change it. Confidence when you build your confidence and follow the script. There are so many out there. Just follow the script. That's how you can overcome that, is by knowledge. All right. This was a big one. Not knowing who to talk to. I don't have a lot of friends. Girl, I don't have no friends. My family don't support me. I don't have any friends. So then what happens is consultants often think they've run out of people. Well, I've talked to her all these many times. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm having a hot flash. But I've talked to her so many times. I don't want to talk to her again. It could be your family. It can be your sister. It could be your aunties. It could be your cousins. And it's like you struggle with expanding your network. Life is beyond your friends and family. You cannot build a business just on friends and family. Please know that.
That is the truth.
Understand that. You cannot build a business off of friends and family. So you have to go outside your friends and family. Got to. So this is the solution. Expand your network regularly. Try how many times we call the same people. Stop it. Stop calling the same people. When you out and about, meet new people. Expand your reach. I know Jeanette Cooks is really big on doing referrals, getting referrals from other customers. You have to network. That's what businesses do. You've ever been around somebody who own a business, they're going to tell you about their business. They're going to tell you about their business, right? So that's the same thing. I want you guys to look at it from a standpoint of, I need to expand my network. Everywhere I go, I am a walking billboard. I am my advertisement. So wherever I go, you want to hand out your business. You want to do the things that you need to expand your network. The weather is starting to change, right? With the weather changing, you're going to start having different events happening in your local community. Whether it's a Women's Day celebration at church, be intentional to go and introduce yourself to somebody that maybe you see all the time in church, but you don't know her name. Introduce yourself. Or maybe you have, I know we have some AKAs up here, Daylene. So
Yep.
you have, maybe you go to, if you're going to your sorority meeting and maybe it's one of your sorors that you don't know. Introduce yourself. Maybe it's a civic event. You know, look at be intentional. What are ways that I can be where people are? Specifically your audience. Go where they are. I know Tiffany has Jasmine. Jasmine is only 1 year. She just had her birthday. Happy birthday, Jasmine. So what Tiffany can do is go where places where other mothers are. Go where, you know, maybe a park or maybe some kind of event. Go where your audience is. Because where there are kids, they're moms, especially that age, right? Maybe they have a special thing they're doing at the library. I used to take my kids to story time. Anywhere there's something where you can connect, make it intentional for you to network. Because that will push you outside of your friends and family. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Unclear or ineffective messaging. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Either you're overwhelmed with prospects with, you know, you can give them too much information. I mean, you constantly talking. And they're like, what? You'll go right over somebody's head, right? Keep it simple. That's what Mary Kay Ash taught us. Keep it simple, sweetie. Mwah. Keep it simple. Don't try to overwhelm it. Allow them to ask you questions. Sometimes in the interview process, you go through this whole narrative and you go over all these things. I'm going to give y'all my simple tip. Y'all ready? This is what I say. And don't worry about writing it down because you guys can go back and look at the recording. Just fast forward to this part. When I'm interviewing, I usually ask them a couple of questions. Okay. I always ask this first question, and that is this. You know, after I introduce and do small talk or whatever, the first question I ask after the, you know, small talk is, how much time have you allotted for us to have this conversation? How much time have you allowed it for us to have this conversation? The reason why I asked that question is because during an interview process, what if they're on their lunch break and they already ate, or they trying to eat and they only got 15 minutes or only have 20 minutes or 30 or whatever. And if you sit up here and you doing all this talking and you talking about how many countries Mary Kay is in, how many products they don't need to hear that. If you only have a small amount of time, you want to be able to get their questions answered. So the first thing I always do is ask them, how much time? This is after, we did the small talk. Hey, how you doing? What, tell me a little bit about yourself, that sort of thing. Always ask that question. How much time have you allowed for this conversation? My second question is, if we only had a few minutes to talk about the Mary Kay opportunity, what is the most important thing you need to hear in order to consider if this is something you're willing to try? If we only have 5 minutes to talk about the Mary Kay opportunity, what is the most important thing you need to hear in order for you to consider if this is something you're willing to try? Why is that question important? Because it's getting down to what's important to them. And she's going to give you, well, I'm not sure. She's going to tell you, well, is this, how much do I have to sell? Or what does it take to get started? Your job is to answer her questions or his questions. Now, once they ask you the question, my follow-up question is it anything else? Is it anything else? And I ask those questions until I get a no. No, I think that's about it. Then I just go for the jugular, like Gloria taught us. I would so once you answer all their questions, you just ask them the questions. You just ask them, would they like to work with you? Would they like to be on your team? You would love to have them. Would you like to be on my team? Yes. It's really that simple. Yes or no. If they say no, say, well, tell me, what is it that is preventing you from saying yes? Because sometimes it's more information needed. What's preventing you from saying yes? And of course, you already know if they say yes, you just go ahead and go into it's only 2 packages. It's either the $35 package or they can get the showcase and the $35. So either way. But that's it. Keep it simple. I don't have a book. We're talking about years. I've been on the national quota sharing multiple times. Yes, I have a beehive. I do the same thing. I really do, you guys. And this is from years of experience. Sometimes what I've learned is that a lot of times we spend so much time telling them about all this other stuff that is not important to them. They don't really care. They will tune you out. You have to find out what do they want? What is it that they want to hear? What information you need to give them? Okay. All right. So, like I said, it's a clear and simple message. Don't overcomplicate it, please. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it clear and simple. No overcomplication.
Call you back. I'm
I
on a call.
noticed I had three questions, right? Pretty much. How much time? If we only had a few minutes, what's the most important thing you need to hear? And then finally ask them, after you answer all their questions, ask them, would they be willing to work with you? You would love to work with them. And then you go from there. Yes, you can have pictures. Sometimes I do pic collage. You can do a slideshow, whatever you want to do. There are many things that you can do. But what I found was the most effective is just having a conversation and being 100% authentic with your message. Because the purpose is to find out what they want. Mary Kay has a way of feeling a need. Your job is to find what the need is in their life. And the only way you're going to find that out is not by just running off all these statistics and all this other stuff. The only way you're really going to find out is by asking the questions and allowing them to convey what's important to them. And your job is to get them the answer. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Not following up. Huge, 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 huge. We don't follow up. Many consultants fail to follow up consistently, assuming that if someone is interested, they'll reach out. That ain't it. They don't do that. Now, some people do. Some people do. But most don't. Be honest with yourself. Is that something? Don't you need reminders? Sometimes we forget. We forget. So sometimes I need a reminder. So you want to make sure that, don't expect for them to follow up with you. It's your job to follow up with them. And another thing is you don't nurture the leads or check in to answer the questions. Remember, that's what I just talked about. Find out what's important to them. What do they need to hear? This is not about you just making up stuff, because you are women and men of integrity. Your job is to find out what they need and then give them the answer. Then they decide what they're going to do with it. But follow up consistently. That's the solution. If I had one of my clients, she's trying a new product. I introduced her to a new product today. So I will follow up with her in a couple of days. Make a reminder on even if you got to write it down, write down a reminder or put a reminder in your phone or whatever. Don't forget to call Susie Q about whatever. Always follow up. I'll give y'all know my story. Well, some of you guys know my story. When I was first approached to sell Mary Kay, the consultant did not follow up with me. So by the time she did, weeks, almost months later, I found something else to do. And I turned my nose at Mary Kay. I was like, I ain't got time for no Mary Kay. She missed that opportunity. But to be truthful, it was just God's timing. But she didn't do her job. You have to follow up. If you say you're going to follow up in a couple of days, do that. Make sure you follow up in a couple of days just to check and make sure everything, make sure, does she have any other questions? Follow up. Okay. Another one, lack of systematic approach. Without a clear recruiting system, consultants approach recruiting randomly. You just throw out stuff and not be strategic. I'm very strategic. I keep it simple, you guys. Systems are important. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the levels of our systems. If we don't have good systems, that's how we don't reach it. We don't reach the goal if the system is not in place. Have a clear recruiting system and be consistent with it. Don't this week, okay, this week I'm gonna do the Mrs. Cab. Next week I'm gonna do a recruiter notebook. This week I'm gonna do this. Be consistent. That's also how you create consistency and be confident because you're doing the same thing. Repetition. We have a whole section on boards. The boards is a way where you can access all this information for free, you guys. We keep it updated. So that is a resource that you can use for your business. It's a whole tab on boards under team building. A whole tab. You got flyers up there, you got recruiting notebooks, you got so much stuff up there that you can use. But be strategic, be consistent. Don't every week you try something else, you throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Be consistent. And another one is they don't track who you spoken to. That's what she did with me. She didn't follow up with me. And she missed that opportunity because I moved elsewhere. I mean, years later, I ended up coming back to Mary Kay, but it wasn't through her. Okay, so don't miss the opportunity. Solution, create a simple, duplicatable system. Like I said, just stick with it. If you guys just use those 3 questions, every time you offer the opportunity and you set up an interview, that's all you need to do. If you want to make a copy, if you want to have like a what they call a cheat sheet, like maybe you can print off some things, you can have that at your disposal, or you always have InTouch, you have boards where you can go and get information. Create a system that works for you, but keep it simple. Keep it simple. All right, next one. Misconceptions. This is a big one. How many of you guys heard this? I don't want to do no Mary Kay. Mary Kay, that's a pyramid. I don't want to do Mary Kay. I don't want to be bothering my friends and my family. I don't want to be nagging them and begging them. Some people are going to have negative concepts all day long. That is not something you can control. How many of you guys you working somewhere and not everybody where you work at is happy-go-lucky. They got negative thoughts towards your co-workers, your supervisor. That is a part of life. There is nothing without critics. I'm going to say that again. I don't care what it is, you're going to have critics. Period. Full stop. You're going to have critics. But you cannot allow the critics to stop you. And I think of the Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Eagles. He said this. He said, I had a purpose before your opinion. When your purpose is clear, people are going to have negative opinions, but people are going to have good apparent opinions as well. You just have to move forward and be ready. Well, first of all, if anybody say Mary Kay is a pyramid scheme, that is just factually untrue. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a multi-level. Yes, it is. But it's not a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme, at its truth, the true measure of a pyramid scheme is it's illegal. So think about like Ponzi schemes and stuff like that. Pyramid schemes, you can't do that. It's illegal. Now, Mary Kay has been around for over 60 years. If it was a pyramid scheme, it will not be in business. It's a multi-level marketing, yes, but it is not a pyramid scheme. Okay. As far as, do I have to buy the friends and family? No, you really don't. You're in business. You can sell to anybody you like. It doesn't have to be your friends and family. It can be anybody. But we teach you how to build a customer base. Okay. Solution: address the misconceptions head on. Don't try to hide behind it. A lot of this stuff is not true. And you want to be honest with it. Show them the facts and also talk about your experience. Well, I have a friend who started Mary Kay and she didn't get any help. Well, all of y'all know on this call right tonight on this Zoom, y'all know we teach you. As your sales director, as your coach, as your mentor, I will always be here to teach you and support you in your business, period. So yes, you get support. Just saying. Has this been good? Before I go any further, I want just to get some feedback on this.
Yeah,
Always
this has been
always
very
helpful.
Very
Always helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very Mandy, very helpful.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is a big one for a lot of my full-time working consultants here. Just to give you a fact, most of consultants and directors that have a Mary Kay business work full-time. Most of you work full-time, okay? So time management issues is a big issue for a lot of people, even when you're talking about the opportunity. People have their times, they just got so much going on their plate. They really do. They have this going on. They got that going on. They're working full-time. They're volunteering at church. They're volunteering for their organization. They're got plenty going on. So many consultants struggle to balance selling the product, recruiting, and training new team members. Well, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Your focus is always to sell and offer the opportunity. But offering the opportunity is a choice. You don't have to. I look at it from this standpoint, where we are in what's happening in the country right now with people losing their jobs. This is something that can be a blessing to somebody else. So that if you are just trying to recruit people just to get on your team, you're not making money that way. You want your new team members to be successful in their business. We don't get a commission off of somebody signing up.
Mm.
And say that again. We do not get a commission off of somebody just ordering a kit. So your commission comes from them ordering, but you want them to be successful in selling the product. And newsflash, you guys don't have to train. That's my job. I train. What you are to do is to encourage and support them. That's it. Another one, they don't, some consultants don't prioritize recruiting because it feels less urgent than making immediate money. Well, Mary Kay kind of changed that a little bit with our immediate bonuses. We used to have to wait until our commission check came out, but now when you recruit a Great Start qualified team member, or when your team member become Great Start qualified, within 48 to 72 hours, you're getting that bonus. You don't have to wait all the way to the 15th anymore of the following month. You can get it within 48 to 72 hours. It automatically hits your account. So one of the things you can do is block off time. No matter what it is, whether it's team building, whether it's selling the product, booking appointments, following up with customers, customer service, you have to schedule. Please hear me with every fiber of my being. You have to schedule your time. I've learned over the years, you have a designated time. We're getting ready to go into the month of March. Before the month of March comes in, I've already started looking at my March calendar and adjusting it. If I have to go out of town, if I have other commitments that I'm doing, I put all that in there so that way I can see when can I hold my appointments. When can I focus on X, Y, and Z? Schedule time in your business and be consistent, especially if you have children. Be as consistent as you possibly be. All my family know Thursday, don't talk to mommy at 7 because she's getting ready. I plan for the meeting. I do all my research, doing all that. I do all my planning for the meeting on Thursday, but I also hold appointments. That's why it was such a busy day for me, because I had coaching appointments, I had selling appointments, and I have training. But it's designated. Y'all see what I'm saying? So you have to block off time. If you know you want to spend time booking appointments, block off time. This is when I'm going to do it. You have to make the time. You have to make the time. All right. This is another one. A lot of people look at it when it comes to team building, they have a fear of leadership responsibility. Some consultants worry about being responsible for coaching and training your team members, and you're not. That's my job as a sales director. Your job is encourager in chief. Your job is to just encourage. Now, be there, of course, to ask questions because they may ask you, but your job is really to encourage them and direct them to me as the director. Direct them to me. It is not your job to do all that. So take that away. Because it's not, it's okay. All you are there to do is to encourage them. Now, what you can do if they want to learn from you, Mary Kay taught us they learn while you earn. Invite them to your appointments so that they can see how you're selling the product, or they can see what you're doing out there. Maybe if you're doing like a vending show or something like that, or you're setting up a table somewhere, invite them to come so that they can learn how you interact with other potential customers, how you interact on, how you talk about the product and stuff like that. Invite them to come and learn while you earn. It is not your job to train them. That's what Mary Kay assigned me to do. Okay. You may feel unqualified to lead others, even if you've been successful in sales. The only way to lead is by example. That's all you have to do. I think it's very important for you to take the focus off of you and put it on them. This is the opportunity that we have in our hand. Mary Kay is an opportunity for somebody to be blessed. You never know what they're going to do with the business. They may surpass you, but it may be a sense of urgency. Maybe they need this to make ends meet. Maybe they need this. So many people are dealing with, oh my God, what am I going to do? They're cutting funding. This was money I was depending on for my child to go to college. Or this was money I was depending on, scholarship money. Now all that is dried up. People need help. It's a demand out here. And we're going to see it more and more. And I promise you guys, there has never been a time when we've had a recession in my career. Those have always been my best years. Always. In 2009, when I earned my first car, we were in a recession. In 2020, when we were in a recession during the pandemic, that's the first year I did triple star. I was in all 3 ports for the sales, for the sharing, and unit club. I've had double star and single star that I've done previously, but that was the first time I did triple star. So I'm telling you the reason why I'm going all of this, because I want you to be prepared. People are in need, and you have something to offer them, and it's this Mary Kay opportunity. Okay. So here's the solution: empower others. They may not think Mary Kay is for them. I didn't. Some of you didn't. I'm quite sure y'all didn't. Like, I don't want to do this.
Me neither.
But here we are, right? Here we are. All right. Lack of personal belief. If you are not fully convinced in the business opportunity, you will struggle to share with confidence. Doesn't mean that we believe in everything Mary Kay does. It's not even about the company. It's about you. Believe in yourself. Do you really have a heart to help other people? Do you really have a belief that, okay, this person can come in, maybe this is something they can work. This may be the very thing they've been praying for. Please understand that. I can be transparent. I have not been offering the opportunity. I've been focused on the sales. But the Lord has convicted me and said, Mindy, there are women out here needing this opportunity. And if we don't share it, that's on us. All you have to do is ask them. Extend the invitation. That's all we got to do. Extend the invitation. Seriously. And then go from there. So here we go. Cultivate a personal belief. What is it that you believe? That's why the word says, according to your faith, be it unto you. What is it that you believe? I truly believe, you guys, there are a lot of hurting people. I've seen it. You've seen it. We've all seen it. There are people who walked into work on Monday and left, was fired. Can you imagine?
Mm.
No way of knowing what is going to be next. You got bills to pay. I saw one lady, she was saying they just bought a house. Her and her husband just bought a new home. In December, they closed on the home. And she was fired in January. That's crazy. Crazy. So believe, sometimes we look at the American, I don't even want y'all to look over there. I want you to look at how can this be a blessing to this person? They have a need. This is something that they can work with. All right. That's all I got. That's all I got. So I want to invite you guys to come off, share your thoughts, all that good stuff. Anybody? Everybody on mute.
Yeah, Mindy, this this was really good training, and you're right. There are people out here who are losing their jobs. I mean, I work for the government. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that do that are on the call that work for the government, but this has just been so stressful, so crazy what's going on. Everything you've heard on the news is happening, happening. Unbelievable. There are people who have been hired for the government, and they were laid off because they were on probation. You're on a 2-year probation, and if before you become conditional, those people were walked out the door. They were laid off.
Wow.
And that's really sad. So this is people who were working remotely, bought homes, had to come back. Have to come back by April. They were having to sell their homes. I hear horror stories every day, and so this is a good time to start putting your business out there, because, like you said, it is a blessing. It will be a blessing it will be a blessing to someone who really, really needs it. Because right now, what this country is going through is really, really scary.
Absolutely.
Really scary.
And thank you so much for sharing that, Yvette, because I think what we need to really consider is this here. Government employees, when there is a mass layoff of government employees, that affects it's a trickle down. So think about it. If you normally have 1,000 people in the building, right? Those 1,000 people that work in that building go patronize the businesses around that building, right? They go to lunch, they go to the lunch places, maybe they go shopping, or they patronize what's around that. So imagine you go from 1,000 to 200. Those businesses around that area is now affected. So it becomes a trickle down. And one thing, you have this, understand this, during any recession, look it up, Google it. There are only certain industries that thrive during any kind of depression or recession or high unemployment, and skincare, self-care, all that is one of the top ones. They're the ones who survive. They're the ones who survive. So you are a part of a business that is going to make it through it all. Now, I don't know about you guys. All of you guys were selling during the pandemic, right? What were your big sellers during that time? What did you sell a lot of? I can't hear you, Yvette. You're on mute.
I sold skincare and lipstick. I
That's
don't know why.
it.
I don't know why, but I
sold a lot of
skincare and lipstick.
skincare and lipstick. They
Yeah.
didn't do a lot of foundation. They didn't do a lot of eyeshadows and stuff like that because they wasn't, out there. A lot of people were working from home,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So think about it, you guys. All those employees, just like Yvette was saying, who was working from home, now they got to come into the office. That's an additional expense.
Yeah.
Maybe they saved on childcare because they were home. They ain't have to do aftercare because they home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they saved on other services that they because they're at home, they didn't have to do. So now this is an additional expense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, hear my heart. I'm telling you guys, give it another between now. Give it about 3-4 months.
And in 2017, we have 2 major hurricanes here in the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Tatwala was devastated, the island that I live on.
Mm-hmm.
And that year was my biggest selling year ever.
See? And that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Be ready.
I was selling.
Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm so glad I follow what the Holy Spirit telling me to do. And I'm telling you guys, get ready because there's a lot of hurting people out there that needs this business, what we have to offer. Mary Kay is there for us. Okay. Pass it on.
The eggs down here are ridiculous. Our prices here are ridiculous. We are in the Virgin Islands and our prices are going up.
It's here too.
Increase.
It's bad. Even just like what you were dealing with, Diana has been dealing with trying to get her products. We on the stateside. We are blessed, you guys. We don't have to wait like Diana and Daylene.
Right.
And what they have to, it takes weeks. Weeks for them to get their products. They don't have access to CDS, customer delivery service. They do not have that access. So we are very fortunate, very, very fortunate.
Thank God for Deline. She saved me a lot of time.
Yes. And that's a blessing. That's what we're here to do, is to support one another.
Yeah.
But I will tell you guys, even for me working, it's taking longer for my clients to get their orders. When I'm mailing it, I don't know what's going on. It's taking 5 days just for something to get to North Carolina. Right now, the next state over. 5 days. That's crazy. So anyway, all right, I digress. But I want you guys to just be ready. Focus, really prepare your business. But for the month of March, we're going to focus a lot on team building, and really, really tightening up your sales. Really, really tightening up your sales. So it's going to be team building and selling. Okay. All right. Tiffany, on time drawing winner. Woohoo! Get excited. All right, you guys. Well, y'all don't forget, take care of yourself.